Hey dear Easterlingers, hope you're having a good day. I know I am because you're watching my video, and thank you again for that. We are painting another hate mercenary. I came back, it's been a while. This is Char, who is slap chopped with black, gray, and white because I love the slap chop method on these miniatures since there's so many details. And we're starting off with his skin with a Dorado skin tone. Actually, this is from the Army painters, from their skin tone paint range. The only way to get it is to buy it through their paint box set. And I very thinned it down. I don't know if that's how you would say that. I thinned it down a lot. Okay, like lots of water on the brush and then on the wet palette. And I'm just glazing it. I guess this is glazing over the skin of this giant miniature. And every time I was looking at it, I'm like, this doesn't even need a wash. The zenith, the slap chop or zenithal or grisaille or whatever you want to call it, came through the skin tone, and it just looks amazing. Like I'm really surprised how well I did for this one. I'm not usually this proud of myself of a miniature, and I find this one I did such a great job on that skin tone. And again, these miniatures from Hate, Simon at the time just knew what people were looking for in this game because this is amazing. And their details. Anyways, I still have a few more mercenaries to paint out. So if you've been around here before looking at some hate miniatures, I know there's not many out there. Some of them just do a random, say, here, put some contrast paint on and slap chop it or whatever, and you're done. I do contrast paints in that, but I want to go a little bit more detail. Some of them just did like all the same color for all the miniatures. And you know, just because they're like, oh well, it's a gritty game and you could do the black and white look on all of them, sure, you could do that, very simple. But I'd like to have a little bit of color on my board games, and especially this one where it is a dark world and you want to try and have each one look like its own miniature, very individual. Like the clans, I'm looking forward to painting the clans up once I'm done the mercenaries, and I think there's other kinds of characters. I don't know what they're called, but anyways, they're gonna come up too. They're big miniatures. Anyways, Basilicanum Gray now for those giant blades of his. Almost reminds me kind of God of War like if he had chains coming out of these things, I would have been like, okay, this is like a God of War clone kind of thing. But like I don't know, I just find he looks like Kratos a bit. He has that look to him and that feel of him. He's just much larger, and a little bit meaner looking, and has body parts attached to him. But I mean, you understand the gist I'm trying to say here. If you don't know who Kratos is, where the heck have you been living? Anyways, again, amazing miniature. So I'm also using the Basilicanum Gray on all his like chainmail kind of thing. He's got some like chainmail all over the place, and some chains as well here and there. I decided to do it like that because I mean, I could have made it more like a silver look, but this was good with that slap chop method. And if you haven't heard of the slap chop method, I have the video that I can put that at the at this point. I can put a quick little link to that video if you want, or just go check out my videos and you'll be able to find the slap chopping method. Slap chop, whatever. Garagax Zur now for all his beautiful cloak that he's wearing, or this fur cloak he's wearing. He's got fur and like leather on it, but I just decided to do the whole thing in that same color. Just because the slap chop does a good job of highlighting itself. It did turn out a little bit darker maybe than I wanted when it dried for some reason, but you could always do a dry brush of like a light brown or like a beige on top of this after and just get those areas, or you can highlight yourself with a brush and just go on the raised areas and you know where the sun is hitting, which I think in Hate there's not much sun either. It looks like a very gloomy place. I don't think there's many like, you know, sunshine and rainbows and stuff like that in this world of Hate. Snakebite leather now. We're going to be doing all these little straps that he has all over his body. We're also going to do the like the arm, the wraps around his arms or wrists or whatever, sort of like his gloves or whatever, and the boots as well with this, or maybe not boots, but again, it's just like wrappings or whatever, like leather wrappings, and you know, you want to get all these little areas. And again, the snakebite leather does a great job of doing the highlight for you. Slap chopping, I know people totally diss it, but man, does it ever do a great job if you're trying to get these tabletop ready. I'm not looking for parade ready miniatures, and I'm not trying to teach you parade ready miniatures. There are tons of other experts out there who are real artists. I have fun with my miniatures. I don't always like when they come out. I sometimes do. I sometimes love them. Like this one, I'm blown away by what it looks like in the end. I'm just I don't know if I'm tooting my own horn, but I'm slapping myself on the shoulder for this one, because yeah, skeleton horde. Now we're not doing just bones with this, we're doing all the skin things that this guy has. He seems to have like body parts here and there hanging from him. He's got arms, legs, heads, he's got some skulls and all that. This is just going to give it a really gritty look to this miniature and look really cool, I find. And it kind of blends into the rest of the miniature, especially with like the sand that these guys are always wandering about in and all that stuff. So having this skeleton horde on all of the, you know, bones in that, I think it does a good job. Rattling grime now for this guy's beard and hair. Again, another beautiful color if you're using this for hair. If you're using it for even leather, rattling grime I find is a good job as well. It's like a darker leather color, but again, really good. Some cryptic armor shade gloss. Okay, so if you're trying to do a non-metallic metal, I find that this glossy paint from Citadel, it's a shade, does a good job of doing armor, and it gives it like a rustic used look to it. Plus with having a slap chop underneath, it still keeps that grittiness to it. And if you would put like an actual metallic paint over it, I think it would just lose all that grittiness and the slap chopping technique. At least this gives you armor that's dark enough, and you could always do a little bit of highlighting with another color. You're gonna see I'm gonna do some highlighting in some areas, like of the, like not the chains, but the things that are holding the chains or whatever, like just those areas. I'm gonna put on a nice little metallic color here. This is a long part because you want to make sure you get all the armor. He's got some on his boots, his arms, his hands, his shoulders, his back, on that cape. There's little pieces here and there. Really like a Mad Max kind of thing. This is another thing I find that Hate has a little bit of like everything in it. It has Mad Max. It has, you know, I don't know, well, it's all post-apocalyptic, right? So I don't know even what references it could have to, but Mad Max is my biggest one. But like I said, this guy looks like Kratos a bit, but I don't think it's a God of War reference at all. I doubt it very much. Anyways, yeah, so there's these guys' little metal head pieces there too, so don't forget those. Some Skull Crusher brass now. So this is actually a layer paint from Citadel, and I'm just getting those raised edges of all those like little clips there for the chains and all that stuff, and just going around making sure I get some of these little highlights done, and that'll just give it a little shine to it. And there you have it, folks. This was a big miniature to paint, took a long time to do it, but he's done. If you enjoy these videos, hit that like button, and if you want to, you can comment down below what you think of my miniatures. If you have any miniature questions, painting technique questions, I will be glad to answer them. You can also join my Discord channel. You can post your photos, videos, whatever you want on there as well. Come chat about board games, video games, miniatures, anything you want. And I want to thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you all in the next one.